Have you ever felt like the world is so loud, so full of noise, that your own voice gets lost in the crowd? What if I told you that the secret to finding your true voice isn't about shouting louder, but about learning the art of being quiet? Stick with me, because today we're diving into a story that might just change the way you see silence forever. Imagine a young artist named Ilara. She lived in a bustling city, a symphony of car horns, chattering crowds, and endless notifications. Ilara was a painter, but her canvases were becoming as chaotic as the world outside. She felt an immense pressure to create something big, something loud, something that would make everyone stop and look. She joined every art competition, attended every gallery opening, and networked until she was exhausted. Her voice, she believed, was in the praise she received, the likes she got online, the buzz she could generate. But the more she chased this external validation, the more her own creativity felt empty. Her paintings were technically good, but they lacked soul. They were echoes of other artists, reflections of trends. But where was Ilara? Feeling lost and creatively bankrupt, she did something radical. She packed a small bag, left her phone behind, and retreated to a tiny, secluded cabin by a quiet lake, a place her grandfather had left her. The first few days were maddening. The silence was deafening. Every unfinished thought, every nagging insecurity, every fear she had been drowning out with noise came rushing to the surface. She paced the small cabin, desperate for a distraction. There were no emails to answer, no feeds to scroll, no one to impress. There was just her, the whispering pines, and the gentle lapping of the lake. Slowly, something began to shift. Without the constant input from the outside world, Ilara started to notice the little things. The way the morning light painted golden streaks across the wooden floor, the intricate patterns of frost on the window pane, the deep resonant silence of a star-filled night. She started listening, not with her ears, but with her whole being. She began to hear the rhythm of her own breath, the steady beat of her own heart. In this profound quiet, she wasn't hearing nothing. She was finally starting to hear herself. She picked up a dusty sketchbook she'd brought, not to create a masterpiece, but simply to respond to the quiet world around her. She didn't draw what she thought would be popular. She drew the gnarled roots of an old oak tree. She didn't use colors she thought would sell. She mixed paints to capture the exact shade of the twilight sky. For the first time in years, she wasn't performing. She was simply being. Her hand moved with a newfound freedom, a confidence that wasn't born from arrogance, but from a deep inner knowing. Her lines became more honest, her colors more vibrant. The work wasn't loud or flashy. It was quiet, subtle, and deeply personal. It was filled with the peace of the lake, the strength of the mountains, and the clarity of the silent mornings. She was no longer trying to shout over the noise of the world. Instead, she was channeling the quiet wisdom she had discovered within herself. Her art had found its voice, not in a shout, but in a whisper so authentic and powerful that it could move mountains. When Ilara eventually returned to the city, she was different. The noise was still there, but it no longer overwhelmed her. She had built an inner sanctuary of silence, a place she could retreat to any time she needed to reconnect with her true self. She began to share her new work, not with the frantic desperation of before, but with a quiet confidence. And a funny thing happened. People noticed. Her quiet, honest art resonated with them on a level her previous loud work never had. They saw the authenticity. They felt the peace. They heard her voice, clearer and more powerful than ever before. Ilara's story teaches us a profound lesson. In a world that constantly demands our attention, that tells us to be louder, to post more, to be constantly on, the most powerful act of rebellion and self-discovery can be to embrace silence. Silence isn't empty space. It's the canvas upon which we can paint our truest thoughts. It's the quiet room where we can finally hear our own intuition. Your voice isn't just the words you speak. It's your unique perspective, your deepest values, your authentic self. And often you can only hear it when you give it the space to be heard. So, I challenge you today. Find a moment for silence. Turn off the notifications, step away from the noise, and just be. Listen. Not for an answer from the outside world, but for the quiet, steady voice that has been inside you all along. You might be surprised by the wisdom, creativity, and strength you find waiting for you in the quiet. That is where your true power lies. That is where you find your voice. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. If this story resonated with you and you want more content that helps you connect with your inner self, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It means the world to me. Until next time, be well and listen closely.